in game number 5 in this trio?
Okay, hear me out. We
Don't make
go
it
ahead and get
complicated here.
96 eliminations and the victory royale. In all seriousness, though, I am curious because, like, obviously, remember, so the 5 trios who get victory royale, they go through to the grand finals. Okay, so then we want to be basically in the top 10 of this leaderboard, which is effectively our top 5. Okay. So, with them being at the top so far away, like, they're definitely secured themselves a spot.
sure.
Like, there's just, like, no way, right? Like, they're not falling out. But if they were to get a victory royale in this next game, I feel like that's kind of pull the leaderboard up. And I would like to see that, right? Because that kind of gives, like, more people opportunity to, like, fight for that top 5. You know, especially as we kind of start to flip on over to effectively, like, what is that bubble, so to speak, right? I mean, it's only a point between, like, 10 and 11th, right? It's 131 to 130. So, like, there's some kind of interesting back and forth there. So I feel like it's probably most beneficial that they get the VR here, right? Like, that would probably be the best for the lobby.
I think honestly, regardless, they're gonna win. So they either take that VR spot or they take that top 5 spot. I don't think that's actually gonna, like, affect the lobby too much more. But I do think if you look at this, like, second page, we have so many teams that are within that contention of getting top 10 right now. Violet, TK, and Larson that sit in top 10 are just 130 points, and we know that a victory royale, or even not even a victory royale, but like a top 7 with a handful of eliminations, can just shoot you up the leaderboard. And we have some big names here. We have teams like Day, Jack, and Boji, Sandman 20 and Northern, Power Blue and Xanda, Liam, like all of these huge teams that are within that precipice of making it into that top 10. I don't think, honestly, that Agers, Acorn, and Pollo have any influence on what's going to go on. They're literally double of second place through placement right now. I think regardless of what they do, the rest of the lobby is just focusing on themselves.
Of course, Acorn, Agers, and Playo, they're secured, right? But there is way more teams that are not secured than are secure right now, right? Talking about all of the bubble teams, the ones that are kind of close to making it into that top 10. Well, this format's awesome because no matter where you stand on the leaderboard, you actually have a chance coming into this last game. You could be the last place on that leaderboard right now. As long as you win this last game, you can make it into finals, which I think makes it so awesome and makes game number 5 very scary.
That's true, man. It's time to roll the dice one last time out of group number 1. Who walks away with the victory royale? Let's find out together for the last time today. Casters, take it away.
They say it at the start of the show. Time flies when you're having fun. Already we're at the last game of the day, and Zeke, he hit the nail on the head. 1 point separates a grand finals appearance and having to go through that dreaded LCQ.
Yeah, one might say that if Acorn, Agers, and Pollo honestly just stay consistent, it becomes a more competitive lobby in theory, because they're just going to go ahead and snipe a spot and say, you know what, the 4 next best teams are going to be the ones to go ahead and step up. So at this point, we know they're a shoo-in, and, you know, last game, a lot of teams came up short. Teams that could have honestly broke away with a hefty lead had a really tough game 4. So clearly there's some lobby adjustment happening here, Jacob.
Yeah, and if any of these teams in or outside of the bubble, if you're that close, go down early in this game, you're literally left watching and hoping and praying that that point threshold is enough. But game number 5 is here. Who goes to the grand finals? Let's find out.
It's been a great group 1 so far, but the last time we step onto this group's battle bus begins here and now. Game number 5 is kicking off, and you know, I couldn't be more excited to start gearing up for the future group stages. This one right here, definitely, I would say, not riddled with too many surprises. All the teams that have pulled through with victory royales are clearly some tier 1 trios kind of coming into the mix. And now that it comes down to the final wire, it really wouldn't surprise me if Pollo, Acorn, and Agers decide, hey, we're gonna have some more fun and secure a 2nd place for good measure.
You know, looking at that drop map, we were talking all day long. The teams that win a game, that opens up their drop spot. Who's brave enough to go over there? Rise, G-Money, and Aviv just won from Outpost. We saw how much space and loot they were able to get, Monster. Not a single team moved over in that direction. So we're going to stay with contested fights off the drop, just like this one. Byla, Larson, and TK going at it yet again, but it's Pollo that's able to get the first gun, try to drop into the building. Byla takes a good amount of damage. His teammate is there with the twin fire shotgun. One's going to go down, but it's only going to be a trade, and TK TK gets the better end of that deal.
And the siphon too. That was probably the most important part of that entire exchange right there. Spear has a shotgun. TK slips out the side. And Spear second guesses himself here and says, you know what? Let's just get the pickup, save my teammate, and allows TK to kind of refresh and recoup himself here. I mean, TK's got a big decision. Jacob, what do you think he does in this situation?
I feel like he just has to hide. He can't even necessarily disengage because we know how crowded the north side of the map is overall. So I feel like almost, if you hear this reboot going off, you might have to try to make a play, but it's a double reboot on top of that. So maybe TK is thinking, get these reboot cards, disengage, and hope for the best.
Yeah, he's got to be quick, though. He's in the room where the cards are, but he had to break through the wall first. There goes the first one. Here they come now. He does have that extra build, but no, gets cut off there. And just like that, TK's run ends. And they did not earn any effective points this game. That'll be GG. Polo Spirit and Mav get to honestly fight their way to Victory Royale at this point.
That's just a heartbreaker. We were talking about on the bubble, in the bubble. They were the line. But you're seeing these contested fights throughout the day. Flooded Frogs. It does look like Void's able to get the first jump and the first wipe onto them. And a huge change-up, too, because they finished it rather quickly this game around versus some of the previous games that we've seen today. That's going to allow them to loot up the outskirts and all of this surrounding area from Flooded Frogs that they weren't able to do in previous games.
Void Broken King. Big 3 elims. Saw the highlights. They're comfortably in the 170 range now. You know, they might have done enough to go ahead and also secure a seat on that battle bus to the grand finals. Your Ager's Acorn sticking to the trusty strategy so far. Again, this is all in preparation for the weeks ahead now. They've been, honestly, the entertainment for the night.
I think it might be one of those scenarios because in theory, based off of drop maps in every Fortnite community analyst, it's going to be them versus Peterbot at Demon's Domain if Peterbot can make it out of the group stages. But you got to realize, going up against a team like that, you can't expect to win every single contested drop. So in order for them to have a shot at winning if they are contested, Monster, it's going to come through high elimination games just like this. So I think it's a perfect strategy they're doing today. Not really trying to win the game, but more so trying to put up those big elimination games for, in theory, closing the gap if it was finals.
Gotta close that gap here. Game 5 of 5. Once again, this is the last opportunity now. Any team in this lobby still has a chance to go to grand finals through the Victory Royale format. For everyone else you're seeing with 100+ points, they just need to stay consistent into the end game. Big fight happening here. Power Blue and Xanda, their whole tournament on the line here and now. Let's see it go down.
Oh, that was a big one right there for Power to win it. Trades the shots, but he gets the better end of it. Gonna be the first elimination being acquired so far. 3v2 gonna play out the rest of the way, and Blue is trying to keep it that way. But he's getting jumped on, trying to make space. You see him using so much material to try to get back to his teammates. And as soon as they get this opportunity to get in the same box hip to hip, they're gonna slow it down, take it one step at a time, and hopefully try to finish up this fight. Up they go. Power's returning back. Try to get the high ground. He's getting that pressure onto Smoss and Electro, but he's playing safe. They're going to go ahead and use that misform to try to reclaim the high ground, but they're separated. They're duos. That puts them in a pushable spot in this 3v2.
But it's a matter of time. Big tag there for Blue. Nicely done for him. Toads up the opponent. Finds the big healthy shot onto Electro. And take it all the way to the sky here. Just costing him some time and mats, but... Oh, he's trying to axe him. Oh, and then blocks him out. Wait a second. Okay. Even interesting for us at this point.
It almost looked like he was trying to body block him into the corner.
Yeah, he was trolling. He was holding him right there, and then he backed up and blocked him. Not gonna lie, that was almost a super nasty clip, but he ends up being the one pump instead.
And I feel like I didn't make too many like predictions coming into this group stage, but I was like, Power, Blue, Zonda, they've been consistent, especially Power throughout these past couple seasons, making at least one of the major finals on 2 different rosters. So I kind of predicted them to make it. I didn't think it was going to be this close. Sandman 20 and Northern, another team I thought would find success here today, especially since they're uncontested at Supernova Academy, which most of the competitive community thinks of this as the #1 drop spot in the game. Outside of Demon Swing.
Look at this messy fight going down right here. 3v3, but teams kind of in the vicinity, listening, watching. And Mako, Void, and Icy are at 90 points, so they really do have an opportunity, if you will, to make that top 5 still. They might be sitting deep in that second page, but they're not out the running just yet.
Especially if, you know, any of these teams at the top of the leaderboard open up a spot inside of the top 5, give them that much more of a chance. But they're looking, I think they're looking about like 50 points, so around maybe a top 5 or something, depending on how many eliminations they're able to accumulate as well. Zonda, Blue, Power, continuing to rotate, trying to find eliminations. It almost seems like this team is trying to take control over their own destiny by picking up these eliminations, trying to bypass some of these players in towards the zone so that way they can hold them out, rather than just kind of sitting in a surge tower and letting the game pass you by.
I'm looking ready forward to the end game here. Zonda, Blue, and Power kind of set themselves up for all the damage they need.
The Drizzy, Liam, Madden. We're towards the north side of the map, just outside of Pump Power and Supernova Academy. A lot of teams going to try to use this to kind of rotate in from the north side of the map, instead of just straight going in from the western side where it can look to get stacked as Madden just gets down quickly. Even though there is that mobility with the dashes and the misform monster, there's just too much space to kind of close the gap and go for the elimination. But they have all those extra heals down the ramp. So don't be worried if you're a fan of this team. They will be able to heal up. They will be able to get into better shape. They're just trying to use it the most effective way possible.
There goes Silicon Havoc. Opposite end of the story here, just outside the Kappa Kappa factory. Zone kind of pulling towards this side. We're already into zone 3 of the last game. You can see the lobby starting to cut down quickly here, but it will still come down to a very intense end game for all these trios as the pressure starts to set in. We started this journey at the beginning of today's show. We talked about over 60 players trying to fight for their first grand finals. Everyone who's kind of punched their way through essentially have been a part of these veteran teams. So there's a lot on the line here for many in the lobby still.
Including this team here. We talked about Hound and Aiden and their experience as a duo throughout the past couple of years in FNCS. You add Carillion into the roster. He's someone that does like to get aggressive. He can get a little PC. Just needs a little bit more of that experience under their belt. And right now, they're inside of that bubble at 141 points. And so far, they have priority in terms of being able to rotate in towards the zone. The rest of the map, the north, the western edge, and even some of those teams that would rotate from the south have not caught up just yet. So this is going to be the best shot that they have to try to aim for one of those mountain ranges and set up for what could be a long game.
Long game ahead for everyone here. Boji, Day, and Jack. Man, tough game 4 for them, huh? Falling so early, now leaving it all down to this last round here.
Okay. 194 points were required to qualify through consistency last season. Very, very similar on EU as well. I think it was around 189 points today. That's kind of the threshold. It shouldn't be the overall goal that you're looking to end, but you got to try to aim as close to that, if not more. There's a lot of teams continuing to rotate through the north, passing Utopia, just trying to get in towards zone. But both Boji and even Boogeyman taking a lot of damage there, having to pause their rotation.
Azers, Acorn, and Pollo, though. Hunting once again here. Going to live up to the request for the 20 bomb. Oh, no, it's on to Aiden. This is bad. Oh, and Moya with the box up right there, but he gets tagged instead. Aiden Hound, Carillion on the move here. 141 points. This is their tournament run, and what do you do when you have Moya pushing you like this. Just tough situation all around. Northern EXE, another very good trio sitting nearby, watching it all go down. They get gifted and rewarded, and now it's not looking too good for Boyo.
Yeah, they even stole that elimination point away from Boyo. Northern them, they try to close the gap, but the rest of the team is there. Agers joining in on the fun, pushing them back. Sandman got the memo. He said, nope, you guys were right. Maybe we shouldn't take this one. So Agers, I think the full team doesn't want to let any of these eliminations escape, especially since as of now, Monster, they're kind of isolated away from every other team at the current moment.
Agers, Acorn, Boyo. Just doing what they need to do. Go ahead and run the lobby here. Already at S rank as well. That's a lot of damage.
Literally what I was thinking. I'm gonna say, hold on, how? They really took advantage of their drop spot, you know, taking down the Daigo boss. You get experience from that, the eliminations along the way. If they activated the Spire Shrines, and then they're taking down the Shrine boss as well for even more experience. I don't know, Monster. Maybe 6 zone, they should be S+, fully ranked out.
Yeah, that's crazy, though. Get it this early in the game.
Did see Avenger pick up an elimination throughout the course of the past couple of seconds. Vixie as well. That's going to be the cleanup on the Knave, so they're going to solidify that one. Broken Void King, 176 points. For them, they essentially started in second place coming into this game on that consistency leaderboard, and they're at 176 points. So even though they're not in that point threshold, we're looking to kind of claim players and teams would be safe, but they are so close. A couple more eliminations, surviving, I think, maybe even just to the top 12. They don't need a massive game by any means, but they need a game that's just good enough to get across that hump.
This is it right here for some. Luke, Panda, Venox have a team coming up quickly behind them. They're going to rotate out instead of taking any kind of friction here, any fight.
Broken getting another one. Liam getting one. They're just focusing on their rotation here, refarming all along the way. I think by now, a bunch of teams have realized the position that they're in. They played 4 straight games out. They're not in the bubble yet. They realize not their entire FNCS by any means, because there still is the last chance qualifier. But the last chance qualifier is a very, very similar format, except no consistency. 3 games, win and you're in, and that's even if you make it to a finals lobby for your region's qualifier, because you still have to go through the open portion where there's Division 1, Division 2, and Division 3 all playing in the same tournament.
Look at this. Little update for Hound and Carillion. As we saw what happened, they got keyed just by Acorn, Agers, and Boyo, and then again Northern's team kind of came in, but they're coming back to kind of finish what they started. Remember, they also lost a teammate here too, right? So this is very interesting as far as the overall story is concerned, but no, trying to target the teammate out the sky. They do get him. Oh, tough one to deal with here and now.
Not even just the knock, it was the actual elimination. So they have to wait for the reboot van to recharge before they even make an attempt at it yet again. But Carillion has different things in mind. He's just trying to create distance between him and that team, go deeper, maybe even towards Supernova Academy, and that's going to be the best chance to try to get the reboot. And if they upgraded enough, you can kind of see it in the mini-map as well. They do have those hero chests if they have the rank to access them, which will give them a good amount of loot, nice amount of heals to try to get back into the zone.
Yeah, Northern and Sandman at that A rank have nothing to worry about here. That passive regen, obviously keeping them up, so definitely having a much better game of the two. $1,000 above the damage threshold for Core, Preston, and Gray.
144 points. That's how they started this game inside of the bubble. And you're seeing two wildly different approaches from some of these teams. Others trying to close that point gap through getting eliminations. And then the rest of the teams are just trying to play that calm, cool, collected, fly under the radar, survive, let placement do its thing, and let those eliminations naturally present themselves throughout the course of the game. Poyo just getting aggressive from one team to another. He doesn't care who's in his line of sight. He just wants to fight him. That's Turbulence, that's T, that's 8 men that are trying to disengage towards that low ground. But Poyo was just hot on their heels, following them every step of the way.
Good push right here. And again, they're just so far ahead of the rest. They're ending tournament runs back to back at this rate. Then into the storm. Hunting down Turbulence, cut him off. Even with the misform, they try to cone him up there, but he manages to slip out. Boya's on his heels though. Reminder, there is a cooldown, so he cannot spam it. Dashes as well to cut this player off, and this is all she wrote. There goes the box up there. Comes Acorn here shortly. No, Acorn, they want to chase the other team. This is all Boya.
Yeah, this is Turbulence. He may not necessarily being able to take this fight in a 1v1. Amen's just trying to disengage. Going right on up, but that's just going to expose himself to the shots of Agers. He's going to be able to get the knock onto that one, which puts a lot more pressure on the Turbulence than he had literally seconds ago as the last one alive on his team. Tournament is literally on the line. If you don't want to go to the LCQ, Turbulence, now is your chance.
That was pretty intense. Boya trying to wait to the last second for the siphon, but Turbulence manages to defend himself well, just well enough to force the men miss to come out. Agers comes back to back him up, and I'm sure they're talking about that in comms. What all just happened there? How could you not get that finish? But it's all good. They live to see another day. There's the points racking up now for Void, Broken, and King. Saw the stat from before. 194 was that point area, the threshold you had to get to just last season. He's starting to close in.
Honestly, at this point in the game, Monster, if I see that medallion on my mini-map, I am going the whole opposite direction. My tournament's on the line, especially for a team like this. Sandman, 20, and Northern. They're so close to Acorn, Agers, and Poyo. Kind of staggered out their rotation for a little bit. Let them disengage on out before they start to move forward. Even with another team there, at least it's not them. But this is Carillion, Hound, and Aiden, who also need to have a certain performance here to lock in their spot for the grand finals, but they're only 86 above the damage threshold. That's not a full feeling of confidence by any means, especially since so many teams are now focusing in your direction. Basically calling it a firing squad, trying to get any bit of damage and hopefully a down.
They need it. Look, Southern Pool now. Another big rotate for them. Dashes are going to go ahead and give them a chance to, you know, obviously make a big move here. Luckily, there's not too many teams kind of lurking about, so you might not even need to really depend on the dashes here. Sandman's team obviously got their pickup, so they're kind of back in the running here. Oh, that team's under surge right now.
Yeah, Hound and them may not necessarily see it because you don't see the strikes that your opponents are getting Storm Surge, but you will hear the shield crack if you are close enough, which is a huge giveaway if nobody's kind of shooting in that direction of what they're going through at any given moment. But Hound, trio, 300 above the damage threshold. It's not necessarily a worry for them, so they're just going to continue to rotate in. As Poyo, Agers, Acorn, they take notice of the lobby. They fire off in that direction, but it's only a momentary focus from the lobby. They're going to be able to survive, clean up that elimination, and continue to hunt for more.
6 elims already. Plenty of material here to play for high ground if they want to.
Powers down. I think somebody else got knocked around here as well from a whole nother team. Blue and on there trying to save the day. Hound's trying to get in with the dashes, and he does. Catches Blue off guard. Had him looking lost there for a moment. As Hound, Aiden, Carillion get very much needed damage, and even more so the eliminations for the resources. A pick-me-up opportunity as Void's trying to run away. He's got Agers, Poyo just hunting him down on the side from one team to the next. As soon as they see somebody move, Monster, they are just W-keying their way in.
how you got to play it, though. If you're Agers, Acorn, boy, I mean, they got nothing to lose, clearly. They've been packing up these lobbies left and right now. And they're just continuing to flex their way through the low ground. Again, this is, if anything, a showing of how they're trying to prepare for grand finals now. They could be playing for height if they wanted to, but kind of putting themselves in these more desperate situations now as a means to practice, it seems. Now, though, Agers low on mats here, forcing the split from the teammates. Sandman 20 and Northern trying to battle their way out from the trenches as well. Top 17 here. Plenty of elims for them as well, but the mats so low here. They will need a refresh here. Nothing yet.
This is the point in the game. Top 17 placement points have just started to accumulate, and it's going to cascade with every full team that does go down, making this one of the most important parts of the game for a team like Sandman 20 and Northern. They started this game, I believe, outside of that bubble, but since then, they've climbing their way in towards it, inside of the top 5. If not, that victory royale in the final game of the day is going to be the goal for a lot of these teams. Hound, Carillion, Aiden. Step by step throughout the course, we've seen them below surge, and now they're 263 above the damage threshold with the single elimination, making sure to calculate every single one of their pushes.
Who's next? Agers, Boyo, Acorn still hunting. Looking around, they find Boji. Uh-oh, not looking good for young Boji. He's out to the side, though. He manages to escape. Quick dash, combined a little bit of time. Day there, chipping away from the Storm's edge. Meanwhile, Void, Broken, and King holding on to their tournament's kind of position. The front side rotate, get underneath the crevice. They're just waiting for the zone to go ahead and move. At this point, most players are just trying to avoid Boyo, Agers, and Acorn's aggression.
Yeah, even if it means leaving your teammate out to dry, which we've seen a few times before. And already, Monster, we've seen a 2nd place, a 3rd place, a 5th place out of them, and they have their eyes in the clouds. It almost looks like they're going for a high ground. Maybe we can get the first. I know other players in the lobby are hoping for it as well. Sandman 20 and Northern find another elimination onto Minty. 830 damage above the threshold. They're trying to walk their way across that finish line, but it just got harder for Broken and King. Void goes down. They're inside the bubble for now, but how long can they hold on to it?
I mean, you stay long, it seems like they're trying to crawl their way there. They have no mats to work with. Plenty of elims, though. They've earned so much, but it is so desperate of a situation to be in when you don't have mats to work with, and that's why Northern falls there. 20 now. All up to him. Pressure's on him to go ahead and perform here. 10 elims, finds Hound, trying to look for revenge here and now. Gonna block this out. 2 players are there waiting. Doesn't even close to edit from behind. It's just a lot to deal with here. Another team above him as well. From Hound's perspective and Carillion, though, they're in the same boat. Only 162 points. Not much you can do here. Shots coming in from the side. Those wood walls fall too fast. Carillion living off the siphon here. Finds a surf cube. I mean, you might as well pull it out. What can you do here? Boji behind in the storm. Nice knock. Has to get the finish. Crawls behind the wall. Oh, denied in the end. The siphon that would have kept them in the game.
That is just a disaster. A turn of events I would have not expected at this point. Preston getting chunked out by the zone, tries to make his way in, but he gets cut short of that top 8. But Power is on to the last game of the day. They're trying to make it count, even without Blue in sight. It was a sacrifice Blue made to make sure Power can stay in this game. They have 6 eliminations so far. Storm Surge, not a worry in their mind. They just need to be able to finish this game out, maybe even a top 5. Days Sealing the same thing, but with no builds, no teammates. It's a much different road for him.
Oh, but he's got 2 med kits. Okay, he's got plays that other teams don't have the luxury for, but no, a shot comes in, gets his med kit, buys himself a little second, finds Boyo on the side there. Yeah, don't want to deal with that one at all, but the clock is ticking. Chung Jung in front of him. Player as well. No, couldn't get the siphon, denied in the final moments there, and that might just be enough to end his run now. Power, Blue, and Zonda still earning points here. They're one of the few teams breaking away with the top 5 lead here, but I do think they need a little bit more. We could be clutching up the moments. Nope, Zonda ends that one as well, and Jacob, we're seeing a run for Zonda, Blue, and Power that's going to send them the grands here.
You said a little bit more. How's that for you, Monster? But Broken and King go down. Hopefully their points are going to be enough. Pollo, Agers, Acorn, they're on the high ground. They have more than enough eliminations. They already have their spot secured, but it's all about a victory lap as Power and Zonda, they're feeling the pressure down below. There's only one more team left alive in this game, and it's a full duo that's trying to hide underneath, but Zonda finds him. That's Boogie who gets found out. Another elimination, and a crucial one at that, but Zonda's gonna fall. Avenger is trying to get revenge for his teammate going down, but they're all gonna fall. Pollo, Acorn, and Agers, a 3v2 situation. The misform, they're trying to go up, they're trying to steal away the high ground. Avengers being a distraction down below. He takes a massive shot before finally being dropped down by Agers.
You not need this. That's the other
Second place has been achieved by Vixie, but Pollo, Agers, and Acorn have done it. They have won the game and advanced to the grand finals and opened up a spot at the bottom of the leaderboard.
It's too easy for them at this point. They were really determining the pace of that last game. And you know what? They did the lobby a favor. They said, hey guys, we're gonna go ahead and win this one. We'll leave it to the overall points. So if you're everyone else in the lobby, I mean, you're still hopeful. You're hopeful because a spot just kind of opened up itself on the overall consistency standing. We'll just have to see in a couple moments, but Agers, Pollo, and Acorn, they do it once again, Jacob, in spectacular fashion. They really have been one of the more standout teams here for this group stage, and for good reason.
Yeah, they just proved, you know, we can have these big elimination games time and time again. Vivid set a 17, an 18, a 19. They fall short of the 20 mark, but they got the victory royale. And this is a team, as we continue the story of their journey, will have to do just this if they are going to be contested at Demon's Domain.
Yeah, just a highlight reel for them. And again, a lot of practice coming out of that Demon's Domain drop for them, staying true to their, of course, strategy here. Agers, Acorn, and Pollo, I mean, we had no doubts. We knew they were going to win a game. It was just a matter of when, and they were the ones who determined that, Jacob.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting story. You know, I'm looking at the leaderboard before the game started. It was 1 point differential between making that grand finals and going to the LCQ, Monster. And I'm almost just right now trying to figure out what happened. A bunch of teams inside of the bubble went down early. Others pulled off a big game. But that's going to do it for myself and Monster D-Face for Group 1. We'll see you guys next week. But Zeke, Kelly, and Vivid, who is going to finals?
I'll tell you in just a moment, Jacob. First, a moment of silence, seeing as Agers, Acorn, Pollo, they did not get Vivid his 20 elimination victory royale, which would have just been a really nice way to round. No, I'm obviously it would have been cool because the stats would have been a really nice looking stats for that. But for this trio, I mean, guys, we kind of joked about it and have been joking about it all day. It's kind of like they're playing with their food like a little bit, right? Like how many games, you know, even going to that last game, like what it was like some crazy amount of points. We're like, okay, yeah, they're in, you know, might as well just get that VR in the last game to really just show like, hey guys, you know, we were in control the whole time. And again, in my head canon, it's just that they're practicing, right, Kelly? That's all this is. It's just extra practice time.
Zeke, I figured out what it was. So they want to be on the top of the leaderboard, right? But when you win the first game, you're in 5th place on the leaderboard. So by playing all 5 games and then getting the victory royale, they are going to be 1st place out of group number 1. So I think that's the strategy they're going with, Vivid. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Whatever it is, I think at the end of the day, the only thing I'm really taking away from this is that today as a whole, all 5 of these games, I mean, you know, game number 2, you know, whatever, we won't really count that one. It was just like a statement, right? Like they kind of came in today, kind of proved like, hey, listen, we're a really good trio this season. And I mean, wow, the performance that they kind of put on, obviously we can't watch them. They're all like 25, 26 minutes of the game. But every single time we kind of tune in, it seemed like there was some sort of highlight going on. Just an incredible trio.
74 eliminations. 74 eliminations, guys. Like
no. It's more than double of the next team. Like it's ridiculous.
It is actually ridiculous. Congratulations to the trio. Obviously now I'm sure they're just thinking about one thing. Peterbot on the other end. Are we going to look to contest them? Are we going to look to try and fight them like we're already qualified to globals? Do we just send it? I am not shocked or surprised. I don't think you should be either as a viewer, right? I mean, they get the last victory. They have a ton of elims and points. Wow. Let's remind ourselves, though, maybe you tuned in and you missed most of the games or a couple of the games. Here are the trios that won throughout the games. And remember, if they got themselves a victory out, that's it. They were done playing in that moment. And then the next time we would see them is Grand Finals. So that meant there was a lot of room for other trios to try and like, oh, maybe this POI, you know, opened up, or maybe these guys were contesting us. They won. Now, now we adapt the situation. So a lot of these names, I'm not surprised to see, right? These were kind of some of the names we were highlighting.
Oh, come on, Fortnite. Okay.
How these formats are run, but I really
Wait, I know what to do. Okay, who the fuck made it? That one, yeah. The fuck? Okay. By one. Do by one vote. Dude, delete the profit code. Starting up. Feel bar. Wow. Okay. By one fucking vote. We okay? That's it. Started for the win. Not for the win. For the win. For the